I've hated PvP in FF14 ever since I first started playing, and it seems like I'm not the only one. But with patch 6.1 introducing the new game mode, Crystalline Conflict, and the changes to PvP skills, is FF14 PvP finally worth a shot? Let's find out. I've been streaming Crystalline Conflict a lot since it came out, even though I never expected to. I've never liked how PvP was implemented in FF14. If I wanted to PvP, FF14 is the last game I would play. One of the biggest problems I've had with PvP before this was the button load and the amount of useless skills. Essentially, the skills that you had back before 6.1 were a light version of your job's PvE abilities, which is fine. But the problem was that it felt incomplete and unrewarding at all. The way you did damage was by playing under a burst window which wasn't streamlined. As an example, before patch 6.1, Paladin has Request Guard within their PvP kit. While it works the same way as PvE, the difference comes in the fact that it reduces your spell MP cost to 0 while increasing the potency of your spell the lower your MP is. So if you're playing a Paladin, you'll have to get your MP as low as you can before going into your burst window with Request Guard. Niche trait like this makes the ceiling to learn slightly higher. Every time I hop into Feast or Frontline, I had no idea what I was doing at all. That alone made me dislike PvP and was why I never touched it. Balancing issues were another reason why I personally hated PvP, to the point where I dreaded queuing for my daily frontline. Even now, balancing isn't great after the changes, but the patch just came out and could get changed in the future. Before 6.1, PvP mainly revolved around your healers. Healers were essentially your god. They could single-handedly carry the whole team if you had a healer that knew their kit. Try doing a 1v1 with a healer, and I can guarantee you that it will last longer than an hour, because they can legitimately keep healing themselves forever and never die. Where's the fun in PvP when healers are just busted? Then you have the good old PvP limit break. It felt for the most part lackluster. This mostly stems from the fact that it's a copy-paste of PvE's LB system. In PvP, it just felt like an extra button to press. It has little to no impact to the overall gameplay of PvP. With all that in mind, it's no surprise that Feast and PvP in general wasn't well received by the community. Every time there was an update to PvP, it felt like SE was trying to give us pineapple pizza. Some love it, some hate it. Good-looking glamours and the mounts being locked to Feast enraged a lot of people in the community. That mainly stemmed from the fact that queues were typically long, and achieving the rank necessary for the mount was extremely difficult and time-consuming. These factors combined made Feast a very niche community. I mainly rate in this game, and the fact that Yoshi P and his team have managed to drag my ass and many others into trying out PvP is quite the accomplishment. With patch 6.1 PvP changes, I've now found myself loving the current iteration of PvP. Button load is not as bad as before, or rather it doesn't exist. Each and every single one of your button, minus your filler combo button, feels meaningful. Having crowd control on most of the jobs in PvP is a very nice touch too. There's a purpose or reason to actually press your buttons now. Although, some skills feel a little bit overtuned, which I personally think is okay, since it's kinda fun when some jobs or skills are slightly broken. While we're on the topic of skills, let's talk about the new limit break system within PvP, because it's pretty big. It's no longer a one-dimensional copy-paste limit break from PvE. Every job has different LB traits and uses. For example, Paladin gains Hallowed Ground for 10 seconds while gaining the Blade of Fate combo. This brings in a really interesting playstyle while in PvP. Paladin's limit break is often used as a clutch to hold the payload, or the crystal in Crystalline Conflict. Samurai's LB Zantetsuken, which is a call out to Odin, is able to one-shot the enemy, and it also ignores guard. Overall, the LB changes are definitely a welcome addition, as it now brings a different form of gameplay compared to the previous iteration of PvP. In my experience so far, Warrior, Samurai, and Dragoon feels very strong in a team that can coordinate their attack, and most importantly, healers are no longer as busted as it used to be. Gone are the days of healer dominating the pace and the flow of PvP. Their healing kit has been reduced into a 2 charge based heal. For example, White Mage Cure 2 only has 2 charges, meaning that you can only use it twice before it goes into cooldown. This means that they are no longer a heal bot, and they can actually be killed. Hallelujah. Like, it's been such a long time, and now they can be killed. Oh my god. When it comes to the new PvP mode, Crystalline Conflict, I love the fact that you have an obvious objective to work towards, which is pushing the crystal towards the finish line. Even when your team is losing, the time commitment isn't as miserable as it used to be, as the fight can last as quickly as 2 minutes and up to 7 minutes depending on overtime, which makes it a very quick guilty pleasure trip of going in and out if you're grinding for rank. There's just something with this game mode and with the changes with PvP skills that makes it so addicting and fun. Even if you're playing badly or tilted from a bad game, you'll keep going back. And that's something that I appreciate the most. This content respects your time. Most importantly, the learning curve isn't as high as it used to be. It's easy to pick up and to learn, but to master it is another question. Even if you're close to losing, there's always the chance of coming back and winning the game, which makes it a very rewarding experience which we have not seen before in FF14's PvP. I can't wait to see how the meta will evolve in the coming months, and I cannot wait to see what SE have in store for us down the line. This is something that you have to try out for yourself. I personally love it a lot, and I hope you do too. What do you guys think? Do you enjoy the current iteration of PvP like I do? If not, then let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check me out on my socials in the description below. Thank you so much for watching the video.